And we're here. It is Friday today at the races here over in Maryland. A couple of prices that we had on Sunday, Keith, but we'll see how this card. I feel like these cards this weekend were just a touch easier than what we had to deal with last weekend.
Yeah, we had some mad scrambles last weekend,
Yes.
and it showed some monster payouts. We'll see what this week has in store. I do not have any really big prices on my selections today. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have something, but doesn't mean that they're not going to pop up and rear their head.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it could happen. But I know one thing, our weather's still maintaining the right kind of form. I like that. It's beautiful out today, not too bad, comfortable, little partly cloudy skies. The track is fast. 51 feels even a little bit better than that.
It does. And I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. In fact, I was looking up weather as far as if we're going to have any snow, but things are looking good so far, heading just at the middle of winter. Now we're looking forward to spring coming around, so much to be excited about that.
Felt like one of those days today. We
It
could
did.
almost been at the paddock. We're
Yes.
getting back to those dates. Maybe
So
a month or
close.
two off. We're getting
Close.
there. Yeah.
Yes, we can never trust March, but we'll see what we get, and don't worry, Keith. We'll try and get outside as early as we can this year. Let's go ahead and start the day off with that early pick 5 in this maiden claiming 12.5, going a mile and 16, 2 turns around the track here. Scratching the 4, Great Coast. Keith, you, myself, and Mackenzie all have the number 5 hurrying home for Brittany Russell in this maiden claiming 12.5 start. We're taking a look at that last effort on the 5th of January.
Yeah, I mean, this is another big purchase, and this thing just drops precipitously, right? Again, from 20 down to 12.5. I thought ran pretty well, all things considered. Yes, a beaten favorite. You thought he was going to be able to beat this group, but he gets hung out 4 wide, 4 deep early, and I've still got the 5th kind of marked down. You want to be a little bit inside. The pace picked up around the turn, and this one just couldn't quite go. But we'll get to the last 1/8 of a mile, and I thought that was the real key to why I selected him. I think he's going to have one more in him, and looking at this group, he digs back in, and yeah, it wasn't a great performance, but shows the willingness. A horse to the outside, holy moly, who's come back and run an okay number, a number that was better than these. It gets it done. Out finishes this one on the correct lead. That was a big price one. I know slipped up the inside for Gina Perry to get it done, but willingly enough out to 2 turns today. Looking at the flow, some of it comes out with the scratch of Great Costas. So I think hurrying home will get that prompting trip off of Here Comes Rusty, a horse that didn't run nearly as bad as what that line looks. 4th beaten 10. December 9th, definitely an inside day. Hung out, rated, tried to make a move 4 wide, just couldn't do it, but ran evenly late. This one is on the engine, no doubt, for Kieran and Carlos Lopez. There you go.
53164. Keith, if you're still in this first leg of the early pick 5, let's get right to it. Let's get to your ticket here for the early pick 4. Let's see what you got for us.
Yeah, see, we got a fairly cheap ticket, $18
Love
to get you started.
structure.
But here you go, though. It's just, I got a little bit, maybe a reach. You're saying a 4 to 5 morning line's a little bit of reach, but we'll get to that when we get to the race. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Anybody's ball game, it looks like here. Race 3, single to 7. Also, where we'll talk about that one in a minute. Race 4, 2 deep, the 3 and the 7, commanding general for Tesori, holding a little bit of value there, and wrapping it up with race 5. 2, 5, and 7. Thanks from my man Phil. Got a little edit there late. That was my bad, but we got them correct now. $18. Thank you, Phil.
And thank you, Phil. Indeed, let's go ahead to race number 2 in this claiming 25,000 for the 4-year-olds and up, which have never won 3. Your first leg you go wide on, Keith. No scratches here. Makes sense why you go wide in this 3/4 dirt mile affair. You go with the number 2, Heldish, just as I do for Mike Trombetta and Angel Cruz.
What you think here? I think off a little bit of a break. It was an interesting claim, I guess. Reclaim 75,000. Made its way down to 25. Don't really know how to really read into it, but showed a little bit more life last time, and that was the key. This is a horse going back on his form. Some pretty good speed. It was able to prompt some quick paces. Showed a little late life. A couple works under the belt since. Catches a fairly paceless race. I think Guapo again, maybe Hempel get back at it again with the speed, but I believe Cruz coming back is going to have this one into the race. Goes, third time gelding for Trumbo off of this little break.
And that's it, too. He kind of has a little bit of a brain on him now, so to say. And I think he was just so conditioned into – he was a bit of a need-the-lead type a total need the lead type when he was in the barn of Brittany Russell. So with Maker, the best you can see is that latest win at the allowance level. You just saw a little bit of the maturity happen, an ability to come from a little bit off the pace. Don't expect much, but he meant for me mentally, and especially when you bring him down from the allowance to the 25, they have a little bit more wiggle room and opportunity to experiment that and go with that. So it was a happy coincidence that, hey, he didn't get the best of breaks, showed that he was capable of doing something, maybe can come in with some tactical ability here today.
And fifth place finisher, Victim of the Night, came back and ran well, so he's posting some big numbers. So Heldish, I might have said claim back and buy back. Johnson bred this horse, so went back and got a horse, right, that obviously had involvement with. So, Heldish on top, but not it's a like, not a love kind of a play. I thought Great Days Ahead did a lot, had to deal with a little bit of traffic there, some instances in that race on the 13th of January, but raises up off the claim. He's got some back numbers. This is a 3 in life. You go back to races against like Alpha Cairo and He Hate Me multiple winners, showing the ability to kind of run the type of race. He looks like he's kind of ramping back into top form, has the ability. He's going to save some ground with Forest Boys. I think he brings a run in here from off the pace. I don't know how close he can get mid-turn. I'm hoping it's within 3 to 4 lengths.
Needs to.
And then, unleash that rally the last quarter of a mile.
And there we have it, 2-4-7-6. You also go with the 7 Hemp for Brandon McFarland, J-Ron Barbosa. Just a really honorable mention, especially coming down from those allowance levels.
I was interested to see this that close last time. He's run a couple races back into form, back into shape from off the pace, chased a really quick pace there. I don't know what Barbosa's going to do today because there's really a lack of speed. Maybe he gets that prompting pace. He comes out of fast races, so I think he's going to be able to stay the trip against this group. A horse like Guapo, again, I don't have on my top 4, but I want to touch upon this horse for Rudy. I chased him a little bit at 13-1 in November. Was climbing a little bit, didn't really grab the track till very late. I thought the gallop out was good. So I had this horse on Stable Mail to bet back. Comes back at Parks off a little bit of a break. Showed speed and, went a quarter of a mile and looked like he was going okay. And then I don't know what happened, just retreated readily around the turn. Comes back on short rest, blinkers on. Yomar back on. Maybe it's Ascend again today. I don't know how to figure this. Third time might be a charm. Could be, right, the nail in the coffin for me. I don't know. I'm going to use this horse at a big number in my exactus and my early pick 4. So 2, 4, 7, 6. Real head scratcher type of a race for me.
Honorable mention of the number 1, Guapo again for Keith Fusel, along with his top selections, goes wide on that head scratcher of a 25 level in at race number 2. Race number 3 is a maiden claiming 45, going 7 furlongs on the dirt for the girls. No scratches. We all go with the number 7 at Asawar for Phil Schoenthal. Victor Carrasco comes over from Maydown.
Yeah. What do you do here? This is really intriguing. It's a Maryland bred. Was sold for $450,000. Looked good at sale. I went back, actually watched the video. It makes its way over to Maydan. Yeah, right, for the career. It had been running against nice horses. Placed, graded stakes placed. Somehow, I was hoping to run into Phil Schoenthal and get a story about this filly. So regroup, LASIK's going on. Now, there's a stat here. I don't like running stats like this out too often, but the plus 180-day number on the dirt for Phil, it's not good. I'm not even going to go into it. It's been rough. And my man, he had a winner the other day, Prodigy Doll, with a good effort.
Yes.
Looking forward to seeing her maybe in some stakes action. But against this group and what she ran against, it looks like she should win this. I would say all or nothing type. That certainly looks the part here for Asawar at a short number in race 3.
And there we have it. Yeah. I do like that as well. Some interesting stuff on the dam that I'll get into a little bit later on the afternoon. I don't have my afternoon notes up in front of me right now. We'll see if I can open them really quick. And until then, let's talk about your number 4 that we have in Golden Charm for Linda Albert and Yomar Ortiz.
Yeah, did we talk about Monday morning quarterback? That was right. This is a half. to Monday morning quarterback to 7. Yeah, unreal. Golden Charm, yeah, loves to run second, 7 seconds out of 10 tries. We're going to throw her in that spot here today underneath in the exactas, but really went well last time. 3 wide against the grain of the racetrack, moving back up, called a shorter field here, maybe into this, hustled into this race. I don't know, but works. Numbers work, going in the right direction. I think this one will sit back off the pace a little bit. She was a little keen last time. Little Baby Girl, I think, is going to run better back on a fast track, Callie.
Agreed there. Yeah. Agreed there. You also go with the number 2. You just mentioned Little Baby Girl for David Howard. The number 1, Midsummer's Eve, Tim Keefe, Forest Boys on the rail. What do you make of that one?
Well, it's by Midnight Loot, who hits about 10% with the first-time starters. A little later to the race is a 4-year-old firster. A couple good works. Now, we've seen Tim's horses. Usually it takes a couple races, and then they go ahead and rolling. But waiting time, protecting here with the waiver is kin to a debut winner. Debut winner. So that works. There's some things to like here. The mare was okay, 3 for 10.
There we have it. 7-4-2-1 for Keith Fusel in race number 3. Race number 4 is a starter allowance, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the 4-year-olds and up. Also starts the Rainbow Pick 6. Just taking a look at my structure really quickly. I go 3 deep in this starter allowance. I single in race number 5 on Gabrielle 7 for Jerry Robb. A bit of a gutsy single, if I do say so myself. Race number 7 is where I do go wide. I love a lot of horses in that race, in that allowance optional 62.5. So I go 5 wide. And then 3-2, a $36 ticket. We'll touch into that a little bit more detail on the afternoon show. Let's get back to business here in this starter allowance. Again, 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. Keith, you have the number 7 on top, Commanding General in the barn of Bruno Tessori, and Javian Toledo takes the ride again.
Yeah, Tessori back, winning some races. Horses are running well. It's kind of a flow thing for me here in race number 4. The track's been playing fair the last couple of days, so even maybe a prompting trip will get it done. But I like to see Toledo clear by the time they hit the far turn, drop in, save some ground, and control it. Quick internals look kind of like a winner last time out, but maybe being outside cost him. Let's go to the front, good back numbers. I think he can go ahead, get some daylight on this field by the time they hit the 3/8, and he's got definite eligibility to move off of that 60 buyer. I think the your top selection, Charge to Victory, needed just a touch of a break. He's been running a lot, running some really good races, consistent races. We've got a video of his last race at this distance in a nickel starter. Got himself a little bit of trouble. Moves up, looks like kind of a winner to the quarter pole behind the 3-prong battle, and just can't get daylight to get it done, to find that room. Caught in behind horses here. Grand Wiser, Free Square, horses that were in very good form at that time, probably running against a little bit better than what he's going to face today. Very willing to the wire. Lopez is back and looking for a clear trip. If he does, he may just run over the top of that last 1/8 of a mile.
You also go with the number 1, Captain Cardo for Corrales, and Dennis Arujo keeps the ride on this one. Will this one appreciate getting back to the 6 furlong distance?
He's just kind of versatile. He's just going to run his race from the back of the pack. I think he's definitely going to need a little help. That might be up against him today. That's the 5 up against. There you go. But I think Captain Carter just sits back, and he'll make one steady progression. Will it be enough? I'm going to use him underneath.
And there we have it. 7-3-1-5 for Keith Fusel there in race number 4 to kick off that Rainbow Pick 6. And in race number 5 is a 5.5 on the dirt affair for the straight 3-year-olds. And this maiden claiming 12-5. Scratch in the number 6, Spy Wars. Keith, you have the number 7 on top, as I do. Gabrielle 7 for Jerry Robb. Xavier Perez, of course, couldn't get that one last time out.
Yeah, good effort on the 30th. Another kind of hedging inside day. You wanted to be there. That was the best part of the racetrack. But all things being said, I thought this was a pretty good run. Off the pace, circles up, makes this 5 wide, bold run to the quarter pole outside rivals, and looks like, but sneaking up there from behind, had that trip inside and just gets gifted a seam there at the 3/16. Is burning up the dough for Hugh McMahon. Willing chase the last 1/8 of a mile, burning up the dough, came back on a raise and ran that 58 buyer right back, Callie. I think this guy's going to set up shop on or near the lead at the 5.5, first time Lasix. A lot of positives here. just this barn's going to get cooking sooner or later.
Yes.
Today might just be the start of it here for Gabriel 7.
Number 2, Gino, Think About It for Hugh McMahon. Gene Aguilar gets the call on this one. Comes back from that Penn National try at the maiden 10. Why not take a stab at this one for sure?
Yeah, I think turning back's going to work. It's been okay, route the sprint for McMahon. Had a little trouble early at Penn, and 2 races back over this racetrack at the 6 furlongs. Had a little issue early out of the gate, and they got caught a little bit in tight into the far turn. Lane came up the rail. That was the Gabriel 7 race. Has to make up 5 lengths or so. I think definitely could with a cleaner run. Gets in light here. Lasix some positives. Gino, Think About It. Needs be a little bit closer, but he's shown a little bit more pace in his races. I think you'll see that today.
We'll find out there in race number 5, and then let's go ahead right back after this commercial break for race number 6. Keith Fusel, 7254 here in the 5th.
Thoroughbred Racing is taking vital steps to make our sports safer. These include the use of independent veterinarians, strict anti-doping and medication controls, and a single national authority empowered to create uniform standards and enforce reforms. With each step, more data is gathered, accountability demanded, and progress made as safety takes the lead. Visit ntra.com/safety for more.
Back here in race number 6, kicks off that jackpot that was hit last weekend. So we start a whole new pool of that jackpot super high 5 race. So this isn't a maiden or claiming 20,000 for the straight 3-year-olds going at 6 furlongs on the dirt. Goodness, let's go ahead and talk about our shared top selection. In full proof, Ricky Silliman, Angel Cruz comes down from that optional claiming 62.5.
The drop has been okay, 32%, 8 for 25 the last couple years on the dirt for this barn. Second off a break has worked. I think just comes out of a better field. One-way traffic was able to kind of control things up front. Foolproof, just a little bit of a hiccup out of the gate, the slightest of bobbles. I know we didn't catch that in the note, but just kind of settled well back, but showed some late life. Let's just call it that, under some handwriting there through the last 1/8 of a mile. Cruz is back. I like that. Is he as quick as Little Lance early? I'm not so sure, but I think with a good break, he's going to get a stalk and kind of pounce kind of move. I think he'll be close by the time they turn for home.
Helps with the bullet work leading up into this race on the 1st of February, going 48-3. Keith, let's talk about your rail horse. You just mentioned Little Lance. It's going to be a bit of a speed duel between these two, but you can kind of lean on this inside horse going for it today.
I think he's definitely with Barbosa. Another one that didn't get away super clean in a big, gaudy field of 12 last time out on that sloppy sealed racetrack. We're going to get second Lasix today. He was kind of up in between and really not got comfortable, and then just kind of packed it in protected late is what you really want to say on that sloppy sealed track. He'll move up off of that into the race early, and I think best effort is try to go right to the front. Take a little pressure if need be, but I'm keying around these two in all my my middle pick 4s and pick 3s and such. So 1, 2, 2, 1 in there in race 6. You've got Paco the Taco Man. I've chased a little bit. Interesting to see what he'll do off the claim off a couple dull efforts. Wesley Thomas outside as a user for me. Even Kingdom Force. I'll give him a pass last time out against a little bit better.
I wanted to know. I was going to ask you. Yes. So just a little bit of a pass from not, maybe getting the rail. Not a fan of the rail last time.
Out of that same race as Little Lance and just never got super involved. A slight middle move. Had some setup. This is the right kind of group today, I believe. That was a good run 2 races back behind Ruby's Flash, who was a horse that had been in pretty good form for Jamie Ness.
And there we have it for our jackpot super high 5 race in race number 6. Race number 7 is an allowance optional 62.5 for the girls. The 3-year-old girls, in fact, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. Keith, you and I both have the same on top. With the scratch of number 5, Lady Charlotte, we're taking a look at the number 3 determined driver for Phil Schoenthal. Forrest Boyce gets the call. Let's take a look back at that Timonium Juvenile Stakes effort.
Yeah, how about this? Off the debut win on the turf at Colonial Downs, comes in against the boys, really runs big. Unfortunate out of the gate there, the bobble, the bump, the sandwich, you name it. Determined driver was really put up against it. But look at this recovery this filly makes. She was 4 wide into the first turn, continues 4 or 5 wide, makes a loop and swoop kind of move here. Almost looks like a winner. Getting through there, just right up, skimming the rail with Sweet Sadie J. But take nothing away. This was a real gutsy effort from this filly. She's been freshened up, regrouped since then. Lasix going on. Again, Schoenthal, he's loaded today with both of those runners. Definitely could be the favorite. Forest Boyce, we are on watch right now for Forest Boyce. Right, she's at 998.
Yes.
Looking for 1,000. So we're rooting for her, no doubt about it. Her and her agent Shug. Jay Burtis do a tremendous job and a great team year in and year out. So
Absolutely.
determined driver, it'll be interesting. Again, from a speed standpoint, not a lot of true speed in here. Maybe with a good break, you'll see her go right to the front. But I think she's versatile enough. Great effort against the boys. We saw Sadi J come back. And won a stakes, I believe. There's some other good horses in there. 79 in the spectacular bid. I know it was 3-horse field, but a good effort, a good number. Determined driver, fresh and ready to roll, it looks like.
And there we have it. Forest Boyce, knock on wood here, to go, and let's keep it moving. Let's talk about the number 7, and I'm a cutie pie for Claudio Gonzalez. Carlos Lopez comes back for this ride and sticks around this level and comes back to the better distance.
Well, again, looking at who she's run against of the fillies, Kissed by an Angel, Sheila's War Cloud, CC Royal. Her numbers keep going into the right direction. She's turning back in distance. That's fine. Positive ROI for this barn. Second Lasix, a lot to like. I think the way this race sets up, she's got to be fairly close. And will be able to kind of be positioned, I think, ready to strike if she's not on the lead by the time they hit the top of the stretch. I guess, recency, she's probably the horse to beat when you're keying up, looking at the way Sheila's War Cloud and some of these other horses have held that form.
It's an interesting race. What do you make of the Go Sherry Go with Frock and Toledo? Coming back, also shortening up in distance. Do you think this one got confidence maybe to be put a little bit more into it coming right out of the gate? I don't know if the ability to me, I'm just wondering if there's a new ability within that now, and what decision they'll make now kind of being on the rail. Will they be forced to make an issue going forward?
Well, she was able to recover last time. She's had issues out of the gate, multiple starts. You see it, bump, pinch, step slow, forced in, start. Rail, 6 furlongs, against some horses maybe just outside of that might have a little bit more speed. She's got to break cleanly. She took advantage of a very strong rail that day, but she ran a sneaky good race in the Lassie. I think 6 furlongs is just fine. You've got a positive ROI for this barn moving back in distance. I think good break, even a little bit of a bad break. I think she has the ability, the versatility, especially with that route under her belt, to make that move into this flow today. I'm definitely a user in my Exactus.
It'll be interesting too. We both didn't use the number 2 Blue Trillion. This is first against winners for Dilo DeVico and Caramanos. I was tempted to put this one on my ticket. What were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, jumped up, Lasix going on, blinkers going on. The improvement there. Tim Keefe he's been on a roll, claimed out of a hot barn, but Damon, no slouch, has done very well year in and year out. He targets his claims and has done well. Doesn't have to move up a whole lot. I liked how interested she was into the race last time. She was much more alert, into it, ready to strike at any point around the turn and got it done. Going out to 6 furlongs doesn't bother me either.
3-7-1-4, a lot of options there in race number 7. Let's go ahead to race number 8 on our last couple legs of the Friday card. In this allowance for the 4-year-olds and up, 5.5 on the dirt, we all are taking a look at the number 2. Take a hint for Gary Capuano and J-Ron Barbosa.
Big jump up last time. 89 buyer figure on January the 5th in the 7-horse field. The state-bred, state-sired allowance right to the front, handled a little bit of heat. And you see the short comment, responded upper stretch, was really set down there and goes strong through the wire. I like this, visually impressive with Rodriguez. We've got Barbosa today. We'll see J-Rod later this weekend, I think. So I think take a hint. You're looking at her form. You're looking at the way Gary Capuano runners go off of wins and off of top numbers. And here's a little stat for you off the top number. Past 3 years on the dirt, 14 for 34, 41%
there we
in
go.
These allowance races. That's strong. 308, really good ROI, quality barn. Even if he has just a touch of a hiccup out of the gate, maybe this one will go ahead and just fire off the 4.5 races at Charlestown. Take a hint, I think, can set up shop as well, right up to the front, prompting if need be. Really, really good form in that stat kind of puts her there maybe. Puts him maybe in the winner's circle.
Yeah, taking a look at some of the gate speed on the inside horse, we need to see what we saw actually in Mountaineer a little bit. But I think Take a Hint has a little bit more engine, especially with that effort last time out. So I wouldn't be surprised even still. What I'm saying is that this one has a little bit of that cushion. Take a Hint has such a cushion with the gate speed that we saw last time out.
Yeah, he's pretty smooth. I mean, look at his races. He's never missed a 9. Well, he's perfect. 11 for 11 in the money, 3 wins, 6 seconds, 2/3. I think my math is right. Arden's Lucky to Be came out of that race to run a big number as well on an inside favoring day. But Take a Hint, on top. Short price. Freeze the Fire, who was out of there, I thought ran credibly. This is a horse going third off of a break, third time gelding angle as well. If things do get contested, because I think a horse like Take Charge 2 is going to fire out from the outside in this one, keep things a little interesting. I think he's got a rating gear, maybe Swifty Devil, to rally into it. But if Take a Hint's on his game like he was last time, good luck.
2-5 for one king and around Take a Hint and Freeze the Fire for Keith Fustel there in race number 8 and race number 9. Our finale here is a claiming 8,000, 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the 4-year-olds and up. Scratching the 7 Mosifus, we all land on the number 6 Savoy. This is in the barn of now Jonathan Maldonado, J-Ron Barbosa. We're taking a look at the last effort.
Yeah, Barbosa right back off the win and had a little bit of an interesting position here, leaving the 3/16 behind a wall of horses, and is going to be fortunate enough very late. Dives down inside, now works out, splits, and surges. This last 60 yards. He just like hit that 5th gear, didn't he, in the car when you're flying down the highway? You want to go ahead and punch the gas. Savoy and Barbosa, the gas was punched, and there was a response. I think this is even like a step sideways. I know it was a conditioned nickel last time you're looking. Who's in this race? Yeah, Savoy, right back. He's going to have some speed to target as well. Big ham bone, definitely going to go class actor. Part of the speed does scratch out with this outside horse Mosifus coming out, but he likes Laurel. I think he can win right back here off the claim from Maldonado.
And you also go with He Hate Me, Kevin Dove, Yomar Ortiz, kind of trying to, coming back from that starter optional. Honorable mention at this claiming 5, claiming 8 level.
He's actually held okay form off the claim. You look at it, it's just a slight drop, 69 buyer last time out. But if you're looking for somebody with getting class relief, it's definitely He Hate Me. Yeah.
There we have it, 6-5, 3-2 for Keith Fustel. Now let's dive into a couple more of his picks earlier from the card that we were chatting about, including his value play in race number 4 on Commanding General. A price of morning line 6-1 right now for Bruno Tessori and gets Javian Toledo.
I thought held well. Looked good. I mean, looked like a winner last time, but I think that 3 wide trip on a very strong inside day got him late through the stretch, but he held on very well for second. Catches a field here. Let's go, Toledo. Let's get to the front. Let's clear and control. And I think if he does, he gets a little breather around the turn, he'll have enough to stave off any challengers through that last 1/8 of a mile.
And we just touched on it in the last here for your best bet of the day in Savoy at 9-5. Jonathan Maldonado, J.R. Barbosa, first off of a claim for Maldonado. And we saw it all just about 2 minutes ago.
He wasn't the best of Savoy last time, but he was good handling that traffic, the way he rolled home. And Barbosa, hey, let me get back on this guy and ride him again. Gives me some good hope in the nightcap.
She may be retired, but we are talking about Luna Bell in the years after her time on the track. She was the leading Maryland bred at the Fasig-Tipton Kentucky Winter Mix Sale. Of course, she sold for $100,000. Just 2-year-old champion, 3-year-old champion for the fillies here in Maryland. In those winnings that she had in her 3-year-old year, she won 4 different stakes by a combined 17 lengths. Of course, so she went to JR Ranch with Ramiro Restrepo, who is going to be, of course, he co-owned Mage. She is going to be bred to Mage for 2025. And interestingly enough, there were only 6 Maryland breds this year were offered at the sale. 4 of them sold for a total of $121,000 and represents a dramatic increase from last year. This isn't including Luna Bell. This is outside of Luna Bell. 4 of them sold for $121,000, and then last year only 2 sold for 6. So stepping it up a little bit here in Maryland on the sales scale, on the sales screen.
I know it had to be tough probably for the owners and everything. I
know
the family a little bit from going down to Ellery for so many years. Fred Green was a mainstay there. He and that whole family, and then Debbie. It was touching. I remember being down there in March of 22, and we were down there watching that race in Gory's office, the Beyond the Wire. So I think that was the stake that year, and no doubt about it. Great people have put a ton into the game, and best of luck. I mean, I hope she produces a ton of winners.
Between Mage and Luna Bell, both are kind of crafty, so I'm really interested to see for that season and what pops out of there. So best of luck to all of those connections. We will head on over to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratches.
Good luck.